Most people with diabetes avoid fruits because they think sugar is sugar. And honestly, we understand why. Around the world, more than 400 million people are told to fear fruit because of its natural sugar, even though the real problem is often something else entirely. But here's the surprising part. 3 sweet fruits can actually improve insulin response within just 20 minutes. Not raise it, not spike it, improve it. We see this misunderstanding every week. People cutting out apples, berries, melons, everything, only to end up with worse cravings, unstable glucose, and slower metabolism. So today we're going to break one of the biggest myths in diabetes nutrition and show the exact fruits that help your body use insulin more efficiently in a matter of minutes. Stay with us, because the data here is not what most people expect. In our clinical experience working with adults over 40, especially those dealing with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, we see a very clear pattern. Those who remove all fruits usually have poorer insulin control than those who eat the right ones strategically. Once we introduce just 1 or 2 of these specific fruits, the ones we'll share today, glucose curves become smoother, fasting numbers drop, and cravings stabilize. And most of these improvements happen within weeks, not months. Let's start with a quick and simple look at how fruit interacts with blood sugar. When we eat something sweet, glucose enters the bloodstream. Insulin is then released to help move that glucose into our cells for energy. But the problem is not sweetness itself. The problem is speed. Highly processed sweet foods hit the blood fast, push insulin hard, and leave us with spikes followed by crashes. Fruit is different. Most fruits contain fiber, water, polyphenols, and natural enzymes that slow down glucose absorption. This means the sugar enters the bloodstream more gently. But here's where the confusion begins. Some fruits behave like candy, but others behave like medicine. And this is why fruit gets such a bad reputation. People group all fruits together as if they work the same, but biologically they're completely different. Before we reveal the 3 fruits that help insulin respond better in just minutes, we need to clear up 2 big misunderstandings that cause unnecessary fear. Myth 1: all fruits spike blood sugar the same way. Wrong. Many people assume that because fruits contain natural sugar, they immediately spike insulin. But multiple studies show otherwise. For example, research from the University of Toronto found that low glycemic fruits improved insulin sensitivity by up to 20% when eaten before meals. Why? Because the fiber and antioxidants in these fruits slow down glucose entry and improve how cells respond to insulin. We had a patient in his early 50s who removed all fruits for 2 years. His fasting glucose stayed high. When we reintroduced the right fruits, just half a cup before lunch, his glucose spikes flattened within days. So the issue isn't fruit. The issue is choosing the wrong fruit. Myth 2: diabetics should avoid all sweet-tasting foods entirely. Also wrong. Avoiding all sweetness creates another problem: intense nighttime hunger and cravings. When people cut out fruits completely, they often overeat carb-heavy foods later in the day, which leads to bigger spikes. One study from Thailand showed that adding certain fruits before a meal reduced the post-meal glucose rise by 18 to 25% because the body received a slow, steady release of natural sugars and fiber before the heavier meal arrived. We see this in real life too. Many adults over 40 report feeling calmer, fuller, and less urgent around food when they include the right fruits. Their glucose monitors show more stable curves. Their energy stays more stable as well. The key isn't avoiding sweetness. The key is using sweetness smartly. Now let's get into the part most people have been waiting for. Here are 3 fruits that don't just avoid spikes, but help the body respond to insulin more efficiently, often within minutes. We'll explain why each fruit works, the study behind it, and the exact way to eat it for the best results. 1. Blueberries, the insulin-enhancing berry. Blueberries may taste sweet, but their effect on blood sugar is the opposite of what most people expect. These berries contain powerful polyphenols that help your cells become more sensitive to insulin. In simple terms, they help insulin do its job more easily. One study from the University of Michigan found that adults who consumed a daily portion of blueberries showed a 22% improvement in insulin sensitivity within 6 weeks. Even better, a separate trial showed that eating blueberries before a meal helped flatten glucose curves in as little as 15 to 20 minutes. Why? Blueberries slow down sugar absorption and reduce inflammation in muscle cells, the exact cells that use the most glucose. How to use them? Eat half a cup of fresh or frozen blueberries 15 to 20 minutes before a meal. You can also mix them with plain yogurt for even better glucose stability. Dried blueberries don't count. They lose fiber and hit the blood too fast. Just one small serving earlier in the day can help reduce spikes for the next several hours. 2. Kiwi, the low-sugar fruit with a powerful hormonal effect. Kiwi is one of the most underrated fruits for glucose control. Despite being sweet, kiwi has a unique combination of soluble fiber, natural enzymes, and vitamin C that slows digestion and improves insulin response. A study from New Zealand showed that eating kiwi fruit before breakfast reduced the blood sugar rise from that meal by 16 to 20%, while also improving satiety and reducing cravings later in the day. Kiwi also contains inositol-like compounds that support blood sugar regulation at the hormonal level. Many patients are shocked when we introduce kiwi because they expect it to behave like pineapple or mango, but the opposite happens. It smooths the glucose curve instead of spiking it. How to use it? Eat one whole green kiwi with or without skin before your heaviest meal of the day. You can chill it or slice it, just don't juice it because that removes the fiber. If you want a fruit that tastes refreshing but acts like a slow-released carb, kiwi is one of the best choices. 3. Apples, the pre-meal fiber shield. Apples are one of the most effective fruits for fast glucose control because they contain both soluble fiber, pectin, and polyphenols. This combination forms a natural gel-like shield in the stomach that slows the release of sugars from the next meal. In one controlled study, eating a whole apple before a carb-heavy meal reduced the post-meal glucose by 18 to 23%. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between a big spike and a stable curve. We see this effect personally with many adults over 40. People who add half an apple before lunch often report smoother energy, fewer cravings, and a lighter feeling in the afternoon. Their continuous glucose monitors show more stable lines as well.
How to use it. Eat half to one medium apple about 15 to 20 minutes before lunch or dinner. Choose whole apples, not juice and not applesauce. Those behave like sugar water. Pair with protein for even better effect. This is one of the simplest and fastest ways to control blood sugar using real food. Why these 3 fruits work so fast. These fruits share 3 unique qualities, and this is why they help insulin response within minutes. 1. High soluble fiber, slows glucose entry. 2. Strong polyphenols, improve insulin sensitivity inside muscle cells. 3. Low glycemic load, sweetness without rapid spikes. This is why we don't see the same benefits from fruits like mango, pineapple, grapes, or dried fruits. They hit too fast and lack the fiber-polyphenol balance. The timing secret: 15 to 20 minutes before a meal. This is the part that many people don't know. Eating these fruits before a meal works better than eating them after. Why? Because the fiber forms a slow-release layer in the stomach, so when the main meal arrives, the sugars enter the bloodstream more gradually.
This is how you get the 20-minute insulin improvement effect. Before we continue, if you find this kind of clarity helpful, especially the simple, science-based guidance for adults over 40, feel free to support this channel by subscribing. All right, let's keep going. To make this easier to remember, let's connect the dots for all three fruits we just discussed. 1. Why fruit timing matters more than the fruit itself. Many people focus only on which fruit is good or bad, but timing changes everything. When we eat fruit before a meal, the body receives slow-digesting fiber first, which reduces the impact of the larger meal. But when fruit is eaten after a meal, especially after refined carbs, it may add to the glucose load instead of smoothing it. So the real skill isn't choosing fruit, it's using fruit strategically. 2. The common mistake that cancels the benefit. A lot of people pair fruit with sweetened yogurt, flavored drinks, or granola. This combination can turn a blood sugar-friendly fruit into a spike. If you want the best results, keep your fruit pairing simple, with plain yogurt, a handful of nuts, or nothing at all before the meal. These pairings stabilize digestion and keep the glucose curve smooth. 3. Who should be extra careful? Even though these fruits are generally safe for most people with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, there are two groups that need a bit of caution. Those on insulin or strong glucose-lowering meds, fruit is still fine, but timing needs monitoring, and those with slow digestion issues, gastroparesis. Fiber may slow things too much. If this applies to you, it's okay. Just eat smaller portions at first and see how your body responds. 4. Why this works better than cutting out all sweetness. Removing all sweetness from the diet often backfires. It leads to overeating later in the day, intense cravings, nighttime hunger, mood swings. By giving the body a gentle, natural sweetness from fiber-rich fruit, we reduce the desire for processed carbs later. This is one of the fastest ways to break the spike crash cycle. So here's the big takeaway. Fruit isn't the enemy. The wrong fruit at the wrong time in the wrong form is. But when we choose wisely and eat strategically, fruit becomes one of the simplest tools we have to support insulin, reduce post-meal spikes, and calm cravings naturally. And the best part is that these changes are gentle. They don't require strict dieting, expensive supplements, or complicated routines. If you found today's video helpful, consider subscribing so we can continue exploring these science-based habits together.